Alright, let's get on to doing the set. So this set is a simple one. We're just going to have one finger on each hand, Zest, and the rest are going to be mood. Yeah, look at that gorgeous colour. And look at that gorgeous colour. Alright, let's just mix them. Why am I mixing them? Because then it means they're not so dense. For that one. And then we'll do it for this one. At the other side. Oh no, that was going to happen. Alright, I'm trying to be real careful. Alright, so I'm going to do Zest on the middle one, and we'll get our base. Now we want to make sure we got that full coverage. And I usually just dip it. There. What I should have done is to brush the excess off. So you can see here it's pretty chunky at the moment, so we want to pat it down where we can. And I usually do this on the sides. It just means when we encapsulate it with the clear later on, it's not going to be as much to buff as if you didn't. Now for this one, we're only going to do 2 layers. Mood is going to be 3. We'll see how thick it is. It might be 4, but generally I use 3. Cool, so that one's ready. So with base you want to kind of make it thin layers. Alright, that's one hand done. Let's get on to the other one. So yeah, it does take a bit of time to do. Average for me is usually a couple of hours from start to finish if it's something simple like this. Don't worry, the video is not going to be 2 hours long. Now if you see that it's wet on the top, feel free to just dip it again. Yeah, so this one we're just patting it down again. Alright, that's the one hand done, or the 2 hands done. Alright, let's go for our second coat. Now, we want to brush off the excess. Because the thing is, if we've got excess on there we use base, that's going to contaminate your base. Mood really is a gorgeous colour. Alright, so this one. picked up a lot more this time around. That's because I used a thicker layer, and you shouldn't have. So since we use a thicker layer, we'll just do one coat of clear. I'm just gonna pat that down. Honestly, it just looks like a hairy green animal. To be honest, for like any chunky glitter, we should just be doing this. After time it looks thick because like the glitters are poking out. So for this we do need clear because clear is going to encapsulate the glitter, and it makes it so much easier when we are at the buffing stage. Buffing for me is making sure that the entire nail's smooth. Alright, I think we're done with that. The end bit is not very green, but it is what it is. The alternative you could do is mood underneath and then this one on top. But yeah, it's kind of up to your preference which one you want. Now let's do the chunky one again. Yeah, see, I mean, it ended up being the same anyway. Now the reason I do it like one by one is because if you do them all at the same time, there's a likelihood that the base is going to dry. So yeah, it's not going to work for you. Alright, we are done with Zest right now because we are going to do the encapsulating layer with the clear. So that's our next one for this instead. So let's chuck this to the side and open clear instead. Now I'm just going to do it like this. Just clear our last layers. Oh man, that had to happen, eh? Especially while I'm recording. So that's the clear on top of it, so it's encapsulating that. So when we encapsulate it like that, it just means that when we're buffing it down, it's not going to remove those glitter layers. I mean, on the third layer for the simple colour, you could use clear if you wanted to. I generally don't, just because Opacity is used in a lot of different manners for multiple different reasons. And I don't really want to waste it. Not to say it's wasting it, but that's just my personal preference. I don't think it would make a difference if you use colour or clear. It'd be dependent on the person. See, that one's encapsulated as well. See, you see the difference between doing heavy base and thin base. It's massive. Now, if you've got gaps, you can just put base into the spot where it's gapped and then put it in the dip to cover that spot. Don't ask me how that got there, I don't know. So yeah, base is pretty much done for all of them. I'm pretty happy with it. Our next port of call from here is seal. I'm probably going to leave it for a bit and then buff it down when I have a bit more time. We have a cyclone here at the moment, so this is me just doing stuff to not be so anxious. But I'll just show like seal real quick. Alright, this one's nearly full. So buff it off. Now seal locks it in and seals in the colour. Hardens the dip. And look, it's changing within its colour. To be honest, like, you want to put seal anywhere there is dip. If you're going to buff there, it needs to be seal. And then we want to be putting a generous amount of seal on, especially if you're using a chunky glitter, so it penetrates through the layers. Some colours, like, you can see the seal go through, and some colours you can't. Generally the darker colours you can. This is more one of the lighter ones, so it's not as obvious. Alright, that's those done. Now, how do you know when seal is completely dry? If we tap it, yeah, listen to that, it's got that hollow sound. So that's how we know we're ready to go. I'm going to rest for now and come back to this later.